Marc Maron, Shane Gillis, and Zach Woods are slamming this comedy festival in Saudi Arabia that a bunch of their fellow stand-ups are participating in, and we should talk about it. Or because it's called the Riyadh Comedy Festival, it kicked off on Friday, it lasts through October 9th, and it has a massive lineup. You've got Pete Davidson, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Whitney Cummings, Andrew Schultz, and Flagrant, Kevin Hart, Tom Segura, and the list just goes on and on. You know, some have already gone on stage, some they still have sets upcoming, but they're all facing some backlash right now. Because Saudi Arabia, as you hopefully know, for quite a while has been criticized for its human rights abuses, like arresting journalists, exploited labor, executions for crimes like drug offenses, and way more. Like, it's literally about to be the anniversary of when Mohammed Bonesaw is believed to have killed Jamal Khashoggi. And in fact, just earlier this year, the nation's top court there executed a journalist who had been behind bars for over 7 years. And so with all this, last week you had Human Rights Watch issuing a statement arguing that the Saudi government is using the festival, quote, to deflect attention from its brutal repression of free speech and other pervasive human rights violations. And you had them then urging the performers to use their time at the festival to urge Saudi leaders to free unjustly detained journalists and activists so they're not laundering the government's reputation. Right, but also, it's not just activists and nonprofits who are slamming the comedians. I mean, you have tons of other comedians also speaking out. Right, you recently had comedian Marc Maron speaking on this.
I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one.
And actually, this whole thing goes back to July when you had comedian Shane Gillis saying he was offered the chance to perform in Saudi Arabia, but...
I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah. For the troops? Is it for the troops?
Not for the troops. What? It's for the Saudis.
For the Saudi princes?
Yeah, and everyone's like, yeah, you should do it. Everyone's doing it. It's like, for Saudis?
Yeah.
Weren't those the 9/11 guys?
And then Gillis later said that organizers doubled his pay offer, but he refused this significant amount of money so he could take a principled stand. Also, as far as like how much people were actually making for this, you had comedian Tim Dillon previously saying that he was going to do the fest because he was going to get $375,000 for doing one show. Right? And he also claimed that some performers were offered as much as $1.6 million. But then Saudi Arabia apparently fired him from the gig over jokes that he made about forced labor in the country. And, you know, as all of this is playing out, we've seen some of the performers from the lineup defending their choice to go. Pete Davidson recently went on Theo Von's podcast and he said,
I've been getting a little bit of flack just because like my dad died 9/11. So they're like, how could you possibly go there? I just, you know, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go.
Right, and so with all this, it's not surprising that the general backlash that we've seen are people calling them sellouts, or some saying they think it's ironic that some of the sort of free speech warriors are among the comedians performing in a country slam for repressing free speech. You know, if you go to the comments of the top performers' Instagrams, you can see their fans calling them out.